Guys, there are no jobs. There are no jobs anywhere. I'm willing to do tiny jobs. I've done tiny jobs. My whole life has been tiny jobs. But now, when I try to do a tiny job, they tell me I'm overqualified because of that stupid degree they told me to get. Oh, you can't get a job unless you have a degree from a college. Lies. My friends that didn't go to college have better jobs than I do, with better pay and benefits. My friends that did go to college aren't even doing jobs in what they got a degree in. I just, where did they go? Where did the jobs go? They can't all have gone to China. The robots didn't take all the jobs yet. I just want to work so I can buy like groceries and stuff.
I want to know how long other people have been unemployed for in this job market. I lost my last job in July, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, I've basically been unemployed for 2 years. I have just gotten to the point where I literally have applied to 0 jobs in the last month. At some point, it just feels fucking useless, like sending out applications into the abyss. I will take interviews when recruiters come to me, but I just don't apply anymore. Maybe I'm the problem, I don't know.
All right, so I have something on my mind that I think maybe we might all be interested in. And it's in regards to immigration, right? Now, I'm not trying to get all political on you guys, but we can discuss it. I mean, we're all Americans. Now, what's interesting is that how this current administration had packaged immigration. It was in a way that was like, hey, you know, these people are taken away from Americans. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, that could be true in some ways, especially in regards to things like subsidies. If you don't pay taxes, right, then you shouldn't be eligible for certain subsidies that are available, right? If you're not legally supposed to be here, then you shouldn't be eligible for those subsidies. I mean, that's my take on that. But what I really want to discuss is how the current administration packaged immigration. Well, one of the ways they packaged it was like, hey, you know, these people are taking your jobs, right? Now, what's very interesting is that we've evicted a record number of illegal aliens, and I don't know, I mean, it's like, it's harder to find a job, it's like it's harder to find a job now, right, than it was when we were allegedly flooded with illegal aliens, right? I would argue that when we had a certain amount of illegal aliens here, it was much easier to find a job, right? Now, we have been boasting, or the current administration, I believe, boasted, you know, that certain amount of jobs were added, you know, this last quarter or whatever. And I don't know, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it just comes off as, you know, numbers on a screen, or, you know, jobs created on paper, right? For average Americans, we don't feel as though, or at least I can speak for myself, I don't feel as though, you know, there's a lot of jobs available, right? And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I have been consistently looking for a job, right, for at least a year. I mean, I have a job, right, but I could use a better one, you know, but I don't know. It just appears as though is that they're harder to find, right? And it's not just me. I mean, you have a lot of Americans feeling the same way, right, where, you know, finding a job nowadays is quite difficult, you know. And I was asking the question, you know, the other day, like, you know, if we've evicted a lot of illegal aliens, where, you know, a lot of these people are picking fruit, you know, and doing other jobs that I guess some of us won't deem desirable, right? But I was asking, like, who's picking that fruit? But then I saw a video where there was a bot or an AI, right, that was harvesting fruit. And I was like, oh, that's why, we can evict, so many farmers or fruit pickers, right? Because in reality, we don't really need them to do a lot of that work, right? And I would say over time, more and more Americans are going to realize that, there's a lot that a bot can do now, right, that you would have done for work, and it's like a lot of I'm just getting the feeling that when I try to discuss AI, it's one of those things where you're falling on deaf ears, right? But the more and more you try to look for work, and the more AI advances, you guys are going to slowly realize that this is why you're not able to find a job, right? Most employers right now are not hiring new employees, right? They're keeping the staff that they have, right? Who they deem as necessary, they're keeping, right? And whom is not necessary, I guess they'll ask you to resign or they'll fire you. But what they're definitely not doing right now is hiring more employees. Now, I know that this to be a fact, at least in my situation, because I'm a contractor, right? And contractors, or just these jobs that are offering contracts, they're usually always looking for new talent, new people to come and work, right? And it's I would say fairly easy to gain an opportunity with them, right? Like if you're doing Uber or Lyft, all you have to do is really basically have a car, a driver's license, and a good driving record, and you should be able to get a job, right? But no, it appears as though all of that has changed, right? And not even contractors are, offering contracts, so to speak. So I've even heard the term where they refer to it as job hugging, where employees are basically afraid to quit their jobs because they don't know if they'll be able to find a new one, right? Which makes sense because, if you've been applying and you're just receiving emails that, hey, we're not really looking for new talent at the moment, or we're not currently hiring, after you receive enough of those, especially for, a year or more, it sets a tone. Within a year, you should have been hired by someone, right? So what seems to be apparent right now is that nobody's hiring really, right? Which again, I'm going back to the fact that our current administration had boasted illegal aliens taking American jobs, right? And I'm asking the question, well, how is it that when the aliens were here illegally, we had more jobs, right? And now that we've evicted them. There aren't as many jobs. You know, make that make sense, right? So, guys, let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. Even if you disagree with me, still share your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And we're out.